Hello and welcome back to this week's edition of The Blame Game. If you missed the news, Dash is leaving the LCS. It was not really his choice. If you want more information, definitely check out his own Twitter announcement or catch some of the VOD of his live stream they did after that announcement went out to hear more detail in his own words about kind of everything that went down there. As you can imagine, the community reaction to this news has been pretty negative. He's a very much loved person of the LCS. He's just a great human being as well as a fantastic talent as a host and all that. And when you compound that with some of the other news that's come out recently about the LCS that we've already covered here or in Travis's latest video and stuff, it was a very, very negative reaction. And normally what I would try and do here is dig into like on the blame game, you know, like, oh, why do fans feel this way? Is it justified? Is it not? Where did Riot mess up? Where maybe their head's at for making a choice like this, that kind of stuff. But it's just hard in my position, you know, as I've covered before, to like really expose anything new. I mean, even just some of the information that came out about like no consistent desk, what does that mean for the desk next year? It's like, I know information, but Riot hasn't said it yet, and I'm probably not supposed to say anything, so I won't. But then like I don't provide much value here, as well as the fact that, again, like I do sympathize very heavily with the community. I've worked with Dash a ton. He's my closest colleague at the LCS easily. Like every single day that I've been there is basically with him in some capacity, you know, like we've worked side by side my entire career there. And so like, obviously I am heartbroken to be not having him there day after day. And so rather than waffle about and make some mediocre video where I probably don't contribute that much of value to the conversation, I'm going to do something a little different for the blame game. And instead, I'm just going to make a tribute to Dash. Enjoy.
Hello, Chicago! Put your hands together for Mithy's opponent. It's Levi!
James shows up to work. James is prepared for work, but nobody else is prepared for work.
Do casters get a world skin?
Really?
I mean, Dash,
if not, it's a good idea. We should at least consider it.
As the teams are fighting for playoff positioning, it makes me wonder, do the casters ever fight? It's a good question. We do get heated sometimes, but we try and keep it professional.
Hey! Thanks! Y en el otro lado, tiene el nombre de un arma, porque es un asesino, el doble finalista mundial. Ratatatatatatatata, ratatatatata. Come on, James!
Send it out to the casters.
Let's send it to the casters. I can't handle this. I'm getting
You know what?
overwhelmed.
Fine. Casters, take it away.
Oh, now we put on the casters, take it away.
I'm gonna go ahead and submit my bid for the 2020 presidency right now.
What's your platform?
This is my running mate. My platform is hate speech. Now I wish I had said something before you said something.
I'm your partner. Take a picture.
Good golly, Miss Molly, if you even tried to fathom a reality where there weren't more games, I believe your brain would turn to mush as you witnessed upon a dimension that not even Doctor Strange could envision. As TSM and Team Liquid load onto the Rift to break turrets, break nexuses, and break the hearts of fans and foes alike.
So if a aspiring League of Legends, host and analyst desk man is interested in replicating what you have, it's Violet and Orchid.
Violet and Orchid are the two colors. I don't know the brand, though, so I can't help you there.
Welcome to the historic Chicago Theater, home of the 2016 League of Legends World Championship quarterfinals. 8 teams from around the globe have descended upon the Windy City to prove that they are the best in the world. An incredible 43 trophies are shared between those 10 players. The LCS was built on the shoulders of champions like these. Chase Center, the stage is set, the stakes are clear, and this is the final score to settle. One team will leave this arena world champions, the other looking back at what could have been. Give it up one more time, San Francisco, it's DRX and T1! welcome to Week 7 of the North American League Championship Series. We're streaming out to you live from our studios here in Los Angeles, California. Happy 4th of July, everyone, and to celebrate our Independence Day, we've got plenty of fireworks coming your way with a super week of 16 games. Hello, I'm James Dash Patterson, and joining me at the analyst desk, it's former LCS jungler Clark Claky D. Smith, and from our Challenger Series coverage, Aiden Zyrene Moon. Guys, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us, Dash.
Dash debuted in summer 2014, week 7, if I'm not mistaken. I believe this was the first time they did it. And look at that read. Man was a natural. Or I guess you would say he spent a lot of time working on delivery and reading and, went to Tish and all this other stuff that made him a natural. But, whatever. He was a natural. Immediately out the gate, he did get a little bit of pushback. I remember back when he debuted because just everyone in the scene gets pushback when they start out. You don't know who he is. Who's this guy reading to me? Where's Freak? Where's Riv? Where's, the people that were beloved at that time? Where all they at? And so, like anyone else, took a couple lumps, but I think he moved past those faster than some people can because what he brought to the table was just this smooth excellence of hosting, professionalism, all the things that, Riot was kind of like looking for in the LCS at that time was he was able to bring that to the table. And so I think he would maybe have a different perception, but I think I remember people quickly warming up to him despite the initial kind of reaction that people tend to have. And he was very quickly the de facto host of the LCS. As far as I can remember it, by the time like 2015, was rolling around, and that was like my second year as a coach effectively. Like people just like, that's Dash, people that was who he was. One of his best skill sets is obviously just making other people at the desk feel comfortable and navigating awkward conversations so that it doesn't feel as awkward as it really badly can be when there's someone less talented than him. And I think an excellent way to display that is to show my first professional appearance on the desk. I showed up like once or twice before as a coach. And here I was still technically a coach, but I was trying to quit Team Liquid at the time and trying to get into the broadcast. And so this was kind of like my actual tryout in a sense. And you tell me how I did.
Thank you for tuning in for another day of action as our teams battle for street cred. Hello, I'm James Dash Patterson, and lending their expertise to the analyst desk are Aiden Zyrene Moon and our special guest, Team Liquid's assistant coach, Mark Zimmerman. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me.
Happy to be here.
Are you? Are you really?
No.
Okay, well, see, at least we're breaking down the barriers
Special
now.
guest.
An honest desk is the first step to being a good desk. Well, let's check out.
He gives me a layup for a joke. He knows my sense of humor a little bit about having fun. My delivery just sucks. It's terrible, but he just like powers on and is able to it's terrible. I cringe. I still can watch myself more than I think other people can. I know a lot of people just feel awkward watching themselves talk, but I frequently listen back to what I said to try and make improvements and stuff. But even going back to my early stuff, ooh, it's painful.
No.
And I just can't imagine how much worse that situation would have been with a less talented host to be like, yep, that joke sucked anyways, powering on and just, on with the business and never let there was of course awkwardness. You can't do anything about that. I'm awkward, but the ability to power through and just get back on track so easily and seamlessly was something that he was always great at. He definitely also gave me a lot of pointers. And so by the time my second split rolled around, that was spring 2016, week 1, day 2, I think. And so I got a couple more reps during that time period. When I was being brought on, they wanted a rotating panel of guest appearances. So Dyrus made some, Skara made some, I made some. There might have been some other people during that time period, I can't remember. But I was more dedicated to it than some of those other people were who had bigger streaming careers and these other things that they were interested in, and maybe they just didn't care about broadcasting as a full-time career, whereas I did. And so I ended up sucking up a lot of those hours when other people started turning them down to the point where I was basically, by the time summer rolled around, just going to be on nearly every single day of 2016. And I improved drastically, both with the reps, but also just working alongside Dash and getting a ton of pointers from him. Check out this, just a couple, next split in 2016 summer. I was so much better already. Still not great, but better.
The other team value versus what is just OP in the meta itself.
And the big thing is, of course, you don't know right now, so you can't really start planning everything out the way you would probably want to.
Right.
It's going to be a really tough just thing for all of them to do because all the top teams play pretty different from each other. We're hinting at how some teams super prioritize Corki, some love Talia, some love Cassio. It's a very diverse meta right now.
I'm getting excited already just talking about it now throughout the week.
To be fair to myself, in this first appearance, I was terrible at the bantery fun bits, but when you gave me some analysis to dive into, I was able to do okay if you look more at post-game conversations rather than top of show goofy bits.
No.
Dash was basically my host. I mean, there were times I did have other hosts, or I went to Europe or whatever, had other things, but I always felt like I was a kid going to summer camp or something before you come back home. You're like, all right, hey dad, what's up? So I don't know, it's just always that was my host. In terms of favorite segments that we've done together. It's hard to pick a single one. I mean, we've just done so much ridiculous shit. I was looking for one where we went outside and we did like that MXC challenge where you have like a bunch of walls with like openings and he had to predict which team was going to win. And like one opening had a wall behind it if he got the prediction wrong, and like one you had paper. I forget how we did it, but like I couldn't find that one. That was one of my favorites, making him just like run into shit. But I just can't remember what week we did that in, so I couldn't find the VOD. But this is one of my favorites that Azale tagged in as well. And like one thing Dash does really well is he can be really, really goofy, as you're going to see in a lot of these clips. He can be really hype. Here he plays the straight man extremely well, allowing Azale and I to just be fucking idiots. Anyways, this is one of my favorite straight man bits from him.
You would often see more frontline in a team fight team comp, but it just raises the barrier of execution for that team fight team comp to team fight.
It is a team fight comp.
So when you get to the team fight, you have better resists. So abusing the fact that they're not in the team fight phase yet, trying to pick a fight not in the team fight.
Because they're playing a team fight comp.
Because we're not in the team fight phase.
Got into the team fight phase.
Push ourselves into that team fight phase then.
Their haunts are not able to use the team fight ultimate for the team fight team during the team fight in their team fight comp.
It's really hard to team fight.
So when we talk about team fighters, how can you team fight?
We team fight wombo combo.
They out team fight the team fight.
You have a team fight comp that isn't able to execute in the team fight phase. Now things are starting to look dire. What are my team fight comps options?
I would say team fight.
You can't siege, you can't split, James. You got a team fight.
I think you're really just not getting it. I feel like we've been pretty clear. You're supposed to team fight.
I can't handle it with you guys.
I'm sorry, dude.
And then I think one thing that I'm not going to include in this video because it's a downer, but anytime there was like a tragedy in the world or something serious happened, you know, it was like kind of trot Dash out and have him do the read at the top of the show, fade to black, somber tone. And he's so good about those serious deliveries, like I said, the somberness, letting the gravity of the situation really, you know, be given the respect that it's due in a lot of these situations, before being able to then, you know, after a little bit of time, bounce back into like, hey, we're here to play League of Legends. Like, let's get on with the fun part. You know, he was just so good at his craft that like he could kind of switch and be whatever the segment needed. If it's a serious role, a funny role, whatever it was, he could do it. Dash was also a huge showman in terms of his style as well, always having crazy different hair. He went through a couple phases of really different looks.
Look at that.
This was that one look you had. Check yourself out.
The credit for that. I gotta thank my stylist and my hairstylist and the stylist here.
And your mom and dad.
And LCS and my parents, right?
I think you look pretty ridiculous sometimes, to be honest, but I also have no sense of style myself, so I just show, I mean, like, I'm a total schlep, so I can't criticize, but it was always funny to see, you know, like, after a year, you know, what's Dash gonna walk into with, like, his style this time? Anyways, a lot of the hypest moments as well have come through Dash in the sense that it's opening ceremonies, it's delivery of really hype lines, so a lot of the LCS history is kind of embedded with Dash's personality and who he is and the delivery and all that stuff. And so with him not being a part in next year, it sounds like there's still potential for him to come and do some stuff. I'm not exactly sure what it is, and even if I did know, it would not be my place to say. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna be really sad without him there every single day. I'll miss him. I realize in hindsight that there's a lot of people who have left the LCS before who might have deserved a tribute or something. And if you're wondering why I'm doing it for Dash, it's just personal connection and proximity that I've worked closer with him than anyone else. You know, even though, like, I don't know, Freak is like a bigger person to League of Legends as a whole, the tone of his leaving obviously very different, as well as just, you know, I'm good friends with Freak, but did not work beside him almost every single day that I appeared on camera for years on end. But hopefully you and other people, and maybe even he, if you watch this video, enjoyed watching it. I'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe. It's actually really helpful. I don't know how many people are going to be unsubscribing as they plan on not watching the league this year. Also, please go check out Alienware because they just announced a whole bunch of stuff at CES that's going to be coming out in this first quarter, including new notebooks that look really, really awesome. And then also they have a 500 hertz refresh rate monitor that just got announced. That's crazy. Maybe you are planning on just playing a bunch of Valorant, switching over to Valorant. It's a great monitor. They've just got some cool stuff that's coming out. So please, you can do a search and see all the coverage and cool things that have been announced by them over at CES this first week of January. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time, hopefully